In a case of seemingly shooting the messenger, an FIR has been lodged against the Tribune newspaper and a journalist over their sensational report on anonymous sellers allegedly selling Aadhaar numbers through WhatsApp. Now, the report in question on January 3rd had stated that it cost the reporter just 500 rupees and 10 minutes to get an agent to create a gateway and provide her with a login. The reporter could then enter any Aadhaar number and instantly get all particulars of the individual. Now, an FIR filed by the UIDAI Deputy Director has accused the Tribune of purchasing a service being offered by anonymous sellers to gain unrestricted access to details of over 1 billion Aadhaar numbers. Some of the charges in the FIR are impersonation, cheating and forgery. The Editors Guild of India has condemned the police case against the journalist Rachna Khera. But now the UIDAI has come out with a statement which counters this criticism, saying that the police case was filed because there's been a criminal offence. They've said in the recent case of the Tribune's report in which an FIR is filed, an impression is being created in the media that the UIDAI is targeting the media. That's not true. We respect free speech, including freedom of press and media. However, our act of filing an FIR with full details of the incident should not be viewed as targeting the media. This is a case in which even though there was no breach of Aadhaar biometric database, it is an act of unauthorized access. Now, the Tribune has also responded in a statement by Harish Khare, the editor-in-chief, which says our story was in response to a very genuine concern and public interest. We regret very much that authorities have misconceived an honest journalistic enterprise and have proceeded to institute criminal proceedings against the whistleblower. We shall explore all legal options. Well, joining me now, lawyer Sanjay Hegde in studio with us, also Sabah Naqvi joining us. Thank you so much both for joining us on this very, very important issue. But first, Sanjay Hegde, I'd like to go across to you. Explain to us this defense by the Aadhaar authority where they're claiming they're not targeting the media, but they're saying they're required to file a case against the journalist as well as the paper.
Well, they're misapplying a precedent which they think applies. There was earlier a case of a sting operation launched by ZTV, where there was a case of actual enticement and some warrants were issued, including against the Chief Justice of India. It was in that context that certain guidelines were laid. But this is not a case of that kind.
In fact, they've quoted that case when they've released this press release. Yes. They've talked about that case and said this is the precedent.
In this case, what has basically happened is that the reporter pointed out to the other authorities a vulnerability. They've pointed out to the public at large that all the data which the Aadhaar authority carefully collates and keeps it in servers is open to be accessed by anybody who can get through these gateways, which are in turn open to agents. You see, the problem is with the way the system itself is designed and the fact that so many people have access to it. The citizens give their data to the authority. The authority says it is secure, but in fact it is not so.
So the Aadhaar authority claiming this is by no means they're trying to suppress the media, but what do you take it as? The fact that they filed this case?
I take it as not only shooting the messenger, but having a chilling effect, deterring other messengers. If anybody else also wants to explore options of showing you how vulnerable the Aadhaar database actually is, the authorities hope that they will that this kind of action will deter others from exposing them in public.
And this is not the first time that
this is not the first time they went after Pranesh Prakash of the Center for Internet and Society. They went after one Mr. Kochar, and they've gone after at least another two journalists that we know of, or whistleblowers that we know of. The point is that we are repeatedly being told by this authority that no, your data is safe. It has been proven now that the data is not safe. The defense is that, oh, they accessed only the non-biometric data. Right. The biometric data is safe. But that is not the point. Just tell me, Gargi, would you be feeling
this
safe?
Is demographic information.
No. Would you be feeling safe knowing that somebody could access your Aadhaar details, including your address, your email and your phone numbers.
This is a big compromise of that information that's shared with Aadhaar authorities. But Sabha, as a journalist, how do you feel? One issue is, of course, what the report has brought forth, to all of us about how safe our information is with Aadhaar. But the fact that a case has been filed by the Aadhaar authority and naming the journalist and the newspaper as a journalist, how does that make you feel?
I'm completely shocked and appalled. I thought I would have liked a report like this with the government responding and with the Aadhaar authority responding, that they would look into this kind of breach. This means all three of us here, all our details can be just pulled out. And by the way, I get a lot of threats. So there is a risk involved in all these details coming out, beyond it being sold possibly to people to market things to me. I mean, so you're collecting our data for what? And very, very important, serious questions have been raised. And since it's a Sunday evening, this just reminds me completely of the Orwellian Big Brother attitude. You're going to collect all our data, you're going to have everything, but now even that is not very efficient. People can buy it. And this journalist has done the kind of story that should be awarded. It's a public service. She has committed public service.
In fact,
and the paper for which I'm a very proud columnist,
Right. All right. In fact, we're joined on the phone line by Rachna Khera. So, Rachna, I'd like to ask you about this reaction that there's been to your report and the fact that the UADI has filed this case, and they've claimed they're not shooting the messenger. There's been a statement by your newspaper which talks about how they're deeply concerned about this and they're going to fight this in every legal means.
I think they have realized their mistake, and most importantly, they have realized the power of media. And I'm very grateful to the Editors Guild and my, counterparts from all across the country and the international, in the international arena. I'm really warmed and I'm really motivated and I'm really happy, and I really feel honored that I have, brought such a sensitive issue that is affecting the life of all my Indians, all my fellow citizens, and I stand by my report, and so is my paper. I'm really thankful to my editor-in-chief, Mr. Harish Khare, for entrusting his faith in me, and I'm really thankful. I'm sure the government of India is definitely going to take a strong stand now, and now there is.
Are you hopeful? Are you hopeful after this outcry that there's been, after the outrage over this case filed against you and your newspaper, and now it seems the Aadhaar authority is backtracking and saying, no, we didn't mean to target the media at all. Are you hopeful that now the government will take some action, or the authority?
I must tell you that we have just exposed the tip of an iceberg, and we have almost completed our entire investigation, and it's better that the UIDAI must, understand the legalities and understand the kind of sensitivity that is involved in further investigation. Yes, they have backtracked, and I think they have realized this, that we have got much more than what we have exposed so far, which we are going to bring out in the next few days to come.
All right, Rachna, thank you so much for speaking to NDTV. So, Sabha, Rachna, they're promising more such reports. Your response to that?
No, I'm absolutely delighted, because this is what journalism should be about. We need to safeguard our own privacy. We need to know what systems are being put into place. And in an age when there is such shocking things being passed out for journalism, here we have genuine, good investigative reporting in public service. This is very much in public service. That's all I can say. I'm proud of her as a journalist, and and I hope she keeps up the good work.
All right, thank you so much for joining us, Sabha, and Mr. Hegde. A final word from you after what we just heard Ms. Khera talk about.
I hope Ms. Khera puts out all the information that she's gathered over her investigation as fast as possible, because essentially what the UADI was trying to do was to suppress the rest of the story coming out, or from other journalists doing a follow-up. This is important information for the health of the Republic, which needs to be put out. It is yours and my fundamental right to privacy which is at stake out here, and a government or an authority which does not care for it or which wants to shoot the messenger cannot long continue in a democracy.
All right, and yes, the very important issue of taking action against a whistleblower who's doing something in public interest. Thank you so much, Sabah and Mr. Hegde, for joining us on this very important issue.